Hello, welcome to Stacy Family Vlogs. Happy New Year's Eve to you and your family from my family. This first vlog is going to be our introduction into our family. Our family consists of myself, April Stacy, my husband, Matt Stacy, who we have been married since April of 2019. My husband, Matt, brought his son into our marriage, Colin, and I brought my daughter, Timberly. So the four of us, plus our dog, Ivy, you can't forget her, make a nice, happy family of 5. We have lots of exciting adventures and we enjoy life. We enjoy life because we know how short it can be cut. We enjoy life because I battle lots of autoimmune diseases. You may look at me and think, she looks okay. You didn't see me struggling 5 minutes ago to be able to breathe because I got up and did too much. And no, it's not because I carry a few extra pounds of weight. It's because my lungs don't always want to work as best as they should. See, I just found out I have GLILD, granulomatous lymphocytic interstitial lung disease. Such a mouthful, right? Well, that lung disease comes from many years of struggles. See, it started in 2000. Had minor little medical issues, not your normal medical issues, but medical issues that turned into be significant. It turned into me having ITP. My platelets destroyed way too fast in my body. They didn't understand why. This caused severe bleeding issues. I had to have multiple blood transfusions. I didn't really understand the significance of that then. I was young. I didn't know that this is something I need to be concerned about. Medicine fixed it, so it should be okay, right? But many years later, like 3 or 4, all of a sudden, I started having these bleeding issues again. And I went back to the doctor and I told him, hey, I'm having some more issues again. I don't know what's going on. Turns out that instead of ITP, I had AIHA, autoimmune hemolytic anemia. So now my red blood cells were having problems and they were destroying at a rapid rate. However, this time steroids didn't fix it. Instead, it just stayed the same and kept on destroying, and I kept on having to get blood transfusions, to the point where I was taking so many steroids to even maintain a normal level of red blood cells that they had to remove my spleen. About a year after they removed my spleen, I had had some issues and I had like a lump feeling underneath one of my incisions. So I went in, asked the doctor to look at it, and he did a CT scan of my torso, and he called me a day later or 2 and he said, hey, you have some scarring in your lungs. Are you familiar with this? This is the first I've heard of that. So he said we need to do some further tests. So we did. He referred me off to a pulmonary doctor, and there was a couple of them before the one I found. They gave me some horrible news. None of that was accurate, of course. When I found the lung doctor that I currently have, he said, you know what? We're going to take baby steps. We're going to figure out what's going on. You're young. You're healthy. We're going to figure out what's going on. We ended up having to do an open lung biopsy, which is not fun. You have a tube hanging out of your chest. You have a big old incision on your back. But they were able to diagnose me. At that point, in 2009, they diagnosed me with lymphocytic interstitial pneumonia. A very rare lung disease at that point. And there was no treatment. The only thing we could do is steroids to maintain symptoms. Steroids, as many of you are aware, are very hard on your body. Fortunate for me, we didn't have to do that very often until 2015. In 2015, I became very ill in January 19th, as a matter of fact. I became very ill. That night I ran a very high fever. I had a seizure, I aspirated, and I had to be put into a medically induced coma. I was on a ventilator for 5 days. I was in a coma for 5 days. When I woke, and they had told me the multiple tests that they had gone through, they had mentioned that some of my immune system levels were very low, and they were concerned about it. They gave me many antibiotics, released me about a week after I came out of a coma. I was feeling decent, but I still had to be on seizure medicine. Something they didn't know what caused it other than possibly the fever. But they were very cautious, as they should be. I went home. A couple months had passed by. I was back in the hospital again. Septic once again. Low immune system. Low immune values. So we did it again. Then that Thanksgiving, I was back in the hospital, septic again. They just couldn't get through it. I was at an emotional low. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going to happen. I would look at my 18-month-old daughter, Timberly, and think, what is going to happen? How is she going to live without a mother? I knew that I needed to do something. I randomly was reading a magazine, and I came across this article talking about this lady who had all these autoimmune diseases and how she found an immunologist. Well, in Oklahoma, we don't have all these fancy specialists. We have your oncologists and your pulmonary doctors and your gynecologists and those things. Immunologists, there is one at the highest level that you can be at in the state of Oklahoma. I found her. She has been a godsend. She may give me my homework. She may give me things that I may not like, but I follow through with it because she has led me to two great specialists. One in Dallas, Texas, who helped diagnose me with CVID, common variable immune deficiency, meaning that part of my immune system does not build up like it should. So it does not protect me from basic things in the environment that other people are protected from. So I might not get a cold right away, but I'm gonna get pneumonia. And it might be the first sign of it. I don't have all these warning triggers. I don't have things that automatically trigger and try to fight off disease in my body. My body just gets sick. So I went through about a year of dealing with insurance and trying to get approved treatment for CVID, which is immunotherapy, through what I use now is GammaGuard. So I do 4 infusion sites in my stomach and give myself immunotherapy every week, sub-Q, GammaGuard. Been a lifesaver. Since 2015, Thanksgiving of 2015, knock on wood, I have not had another septic episode since I've been on the GammaGuard. However, I do have continued lung deterioration. So in 2009, whenever I had my lung biopsy done, I was at 80% lung capacity. In 2019, I have since moved to 70% lung capacity. So this wonderful immunologist that I have here in Oklahoma, she recommended that I go to a specialist in Wisconsin. This is the 3rd time she'd asked me. I've always been nervous about it because it's like, when you've been through a lot of medical stuff, you're one step away from having a breakdown because you're being poked on, you're being prodded. It's emotionally painstaking. You might be able to stand the pain of the needles. You might be able to stand the pain of the procedure. You might be able to stand the side effects of medicine, but emotionally it wears on you. No matter how big your support system is, at the end of the day, you are by yourself. It's hard. So this year, I decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to go there because I'm going to do this for my daughter. It's important for my daughter that I am here for her. I want to see all those years. I want to see those great milestones in her life. I want to see those magical moments in her life. And if I don't do this, this could keep me from doing that. It could be too late one day. So in October, me and my family boarded a flight. As crazy as we are, we took the kids. We flew from Oklahoma. We actually drove from Oklahoma to Dallas to catch a flight from Dallas to Chicago and drove to Wisconsin and flew back that same day. So within 24 hours, me and my brave, brave husband took 2 kids, 4 of us all together, on a plane 2 hours away from here and did a 24-hour round trip. What an amazing man, right? But we did it. And out of that trip to Wisconsin, we were able to provide our kids with a fun opportunity. They thought it was great. My son, Colin, it was his first time flying. He thought it was incredible. It was the best thing ever. We're all Cubs fans. Well, my husband is a Cubs fan because I'm a Cubs fan. That is the only reason. My kids, same thing too. However, we got to go to Chicago. It was amazing for my son. He thought it was the best thing ever. So when we left Chicago and we came back, you know, I felt a little bit of relief, thinking maybe we're going to have some answers. This doctor was so knowledgeable on everything he knew. It was incredible. So when we got back, I got a call a couple weeks later, and they were able to find my pathology report from here in Oklahoma. They still had the slides, and they were able to send it to this special pathologist that could read for this disease specifically. They got it sent to her. She was able to read it and say that it is GLILD, which that in itself is a relief. But whenever I started to think about it and it really set in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new thing, a whole new battle that we're going to have to tackle. This isn't something life-threatening at this moment, but it could be life-threatening later on down the road. And it's scary when you think about it in those thought patterns. So the treatment for this is Rituxan, low-grade chemotherapy, just as they give just as they give RA patients for rheumatoid arthritis. So this will be a treatment of that. But that in itself is scary because my immune system is already so weakened. So to think that I'm going to have something that kills off what good parts of my immune system I do have, that's scary. We're looking at flu season. I'm sitting at home on New Year's Eve, not because I don't choose to, because I would probably much rather be at home on New Year's Eve than be out with everybody that's crazy and drinking and having a good time, especially with kids. But I'm at home primarily because I'm concerned. Flu is at a widespread point right now. That's the last thing I need to do. That's the hospital for me, which is even worse and even scarier. So I think of doing low-grade chemotherapy drugs, any drugs like that are so strong that are going to kill off your good cells. That's scary. So when I was talking about my fears with my husband, he said, well, you need to find something, an outlet. I said, you know, I really want to vlog. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I feel like I have a story that I want to share with others, and maybe it can help someone out there. And in the meantime, I can share the fun that we can have too. That life doesn't have to be just this horrible range of emotions. It can be the fun that we share in between those sad moments or those hard moments or those sick moments. And so here I am sitting behind this beautiful camera that my husband got me for Christmas, doing my first vlog to introduce myself, April Stacy, my husband, Matt Stacy, our children, Timberly and Colin, and our wonderful little pup, Ivy. Here at Stacy Family Vlogs. I hope that you continue to join us and share in our life with us. I hope that if you are someone that is battling an autoimmune disease, regardless of what it is, that you find inspiration, that you know the bad days don't have to define us, that there are good days, and we just have to look a little bit harder for them. Sometimes when our spoons run out, it's hard. If you don't know about spoon theory, it's something to look up, especially if you have someone who suffers from autoimmune disease in your life. I really appreciate you spending some time with me here on this first day when you're seeing this vlog of 2020. Thank you for sharing in my life. Thank you for pressing that like button. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your thoughts, your prayers, your good vibes, whatever you're sending us. Thank you and have a good night.